Hi, I really enjoy YouTube channels which show me people like cooking stuff just in their own real homes, and it's not very organized and they don't have a cameraman or anything, and that's the way I am. Now, what I want to show you today is that my spouse got some ground meat in the market today, and I mixed it with 1 onion and some oatmeal and 1 egg and very little salt and some ground white pepper and I think some chestnuts, yeah, French chestnuts from a can, but very few of them. I froze the rest, and I'm not letting this stuff sit out for more than an hour because it's going to start turning brown. Now, what I already made here was, we get these corned beef peppers here. And see, here's a couple of them in here, and those are already in the freezer. Those are already stuffed, and my spouse is really happy. He can just add a little bit of water into the bottom of the glass baking dish and just heat those up for himself. Otherwise, I'll give them to him with some side dish, potatoes or rice or something. Now, here I've prepared a pan with duck fat, which is very much used here in France. I also have goose fat, actually. And there are a few juniper berries in here. There's herbe de Provence. There's quatre épices. There's a little bit of salt. I think I put a little bit of white ground pepper in here. Now, he brought me a cabbage from the market today, and half of it, or a third of it, was sliced up and just fried in butter and oil for about an hour, and then at the last minute I added sour cream, and it's an excellent side dish for the winter. But you don't want to let the sour cream cook for more than like 60 seconds, otherwise it just curdles. Okay, now I've got some cabbage leaves here, and I've never been able to do this very well, but they're a little bit soft, and I put some of this ground meat in, and I'm just going to fold them over. I learned how to do gefilte fish in New York like this. Now, this is not very elegant, but I'm going to put this in the dish, and I'm not going to bake this. It's going to room temperature, and I'm going to freeze it, and we'll have it for another meal. Now, see, the cabbage leaves should be kind of soft. I can never get them soft enough. I did cut out the inner core, but I don't really understand how people do this. But you have to let it cool down and stuff. Now, I'm just gonna like sort of fold it over there like this and make sort of a little ball. Now, I don't know if I'm ever going to have tomato sauce or any sauce to add to this. I don't know. There's my cabbage. It could be made just the way it is. It doesn't really need any tomato sauce or anything. So I've got these cabbage leaves. Now see, this one is breaking up a little bit. I don't care. I'm going to add another one, and the bigger one, the smaller one, is going to go inside. And don't worry, because for your stuffing, and this is beef, if worse comes to worse, you can always just prepare it in advance and use it as like meatballs or something for spaghetti sauce mix. I guess you could even add it to eggs. See, I'm doing this myself. There's no camera person. Slicing it off. And French chestnuts are fantastic. And if you want any, I can get them for you and send them to you. It's legal. There's no problem with it. Some of them are in a sauce, and some of them are dried. Doesn't really matter. I like them all. And I'm going to keep going with this cabbage. See, here's a nice leaf. That's very good. This should work out okay. I'm going to take some of this mix. My spouse is Parisian, and he does not like cooked cheese. He's not too crazy about elaborate sauces or anything. There we go. See, I'm arranging them in there. I'm sure this will be edible. I'm really sure this will be edible. It's very cheap. He got this cabbage for about 20 or 30 cents in the market of Saint-Denis today. And I'm just not using very much for each cabbage leaf. Just putting a little bit in there. There's a little bit of mess. I'm cleaning it up right away because a good cook is a clean cook. And I'm exhausted. I miscarried last week. Alright. Yeah. I think I'm going to be able to get several meals out of this stuff. Now, I think that a proper chef, and I did work as a chef's assistant in Paris in 2001 for 5 months, would blanch these much, much lighter and more flexible. But I don't really care. You know, the cabbage looks very nice to me. Now, see, the inner stuff here is getting a little bit tough. I'm not sure that I can use it anymore. And that's okay. I'll do something else with it, you know. If I can't peel off the leaves and use them to roll, here's a nice one. The meat stuffing. And then, okay. Now, I used some oatmeal here, which is actually rather hard to find in France. But you can use stale bread. A little bit of garlic or onion or shallot is nice. And you can use mushrooms. You can use, I've got some leftover stuffed eggplant that I'm going to be using. So here is this one dish that I've just prepared. And I'm going to let this cool because you don't want to put stuff that's warm in your freezer or refrigerator. And I'm just going to put a simple piece of foil over this probably. And then when it comes time to cook it, I will try to remember to set it out a couple of hours in advance. And then I will just add a little bit of water to the bottom because I've got a lot of spices down there. And people who don't like foil, I understand that. I could use something else. I could use a proper metal lid or something like that. Or nothing, as long as I kept adding water and basting it, you know. But cabbage is an excellent winter vegetable. And we eat very little meat in this house at this point. Only on days when my husband is working do we have meat. And he gets most of it because he's the working man. His job is very physical. But we have almost no chicken because it's very fatty and a lot of it is of questionable quality. And you should try to eat a little bit of beef every week. But I would say be concerned for the welfare of the animals and learn how to carve up a beast yourself and pluck a chicken or a pheasant or something. It will make you much more appreciate the fact that that was a living animal and that it's okay. I really believe it's okay for you to eat them sometimes. But, you know, that's a life, and be good to the animals and kill them properly, cleanly, painlessly, and respect them. You know, I mean, I'm Pennsylvania Dutch. I have an Amish background, and we're okay with killing animals, but I also spent a lot of time in the United States with indigenous peoples, and I learned about hunting when I was a young girl, and you should only take what you really need. So today is Tuesday, November 30th, and supposedly there's supposed to be some sort of form of aggression or something going on in the world. Well, I really hope not. Now, I must say, here on YouTube, I studied YouTube for about 2 years before I started my 2 channels, and I'm trying to do a 3rd channel. And I was aware that a lot of women are really targeted and stalked and harassed on YouTube, and I had to think long and hard. But I decided, no, I'm just going to say who I really am, and I'm listed. You can find me if you want to talk to me. I have a website named cutecatfaith.com, but otherwise you can just look up Lisa Fallure and Saint-Denis friends. And I must say, I haven't had all that much of a problem. See all the snow we have here now? This is not normal for France right now. All of this snow, all of this frost. We get a little bit of this in January here normally. I mean, this is just crazy. It's very early this year. So try to keep warm, people, and remember, you can stretch your meals very far, and I really encourage you to buy fresh, local, seasonal produce and stretch it out. You know, you may have to add a lot of rice and keep the portions small. But remember, sit down quietly and 3 times a day have your meal. If you're out during the day, try to find a place where you can have a siesta after you eat. I mean, this is normal nature to us here in France, and I'm not totally crazy about the French all the time, I must admit. But they do a lot of good things. They try to have a couple of snacks every day, and it's usually very small stuff. They don't have sweets for breakfast. They tend to have a fruit at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The typical dessert here is a slice of cheese, and you share a piece of fruit with whomever you're with. And I really recommend it. No. Yeah. Lisa rules the earth, right? No, not at all. I'm just trying to... I've had almost no income this year, and I'm just trying to make nourishing meals for me and my beloved spouse. And when people come over here to visit me, I like to give them good, healthy food. And see all the stuffing I have left? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I'm going to make this into meatballs. I'm going to let the cabbage boil down a little bit more. Cool down a little bit more. But, yeah, this will probably be like meatballs, and I'll use this in sauce. I know you know what I'm talking about. We have to make do with less right now, and I don't really think that's a bad thing.